In this video, I'm going to be addressing the most common and arguably the most personal question that you'll get in your medicine interview. Why medicine? Let's get started. Hi everyone, welcome to the video. My name is Sebastian and I'm a first year medical student at the University of Sydney. If you're new to the channel, I generally talk about medicine interviews, med school admissions, productivity tips and all that sort of thing. So if you're interested in further content like this, please click a like down the bottom and subscribe, and I'll try to put out more videos like this one. Okay, so today we're talking about the question, why medicine? This is a very common question, and it can be asked in several ways when you go into your MMI or panel interview. Check out my video on MMIs if you need more information about that. But it's a very personal type question. It's really trying to get a little bit more information about you, what you like, what are your motivations for coming here today, and what's really driving you to pursue a career in medicine. Some people say it's not a good question because everybody rehearses an answer and they come in with their own reasons and they just sort of blurt it out and say it to an examiner. I think it's an okay question. I think not a perfect question, but it's definitely a good question to get a ballpark figure of what you're like. When the interviewer looks at you, they want to get a feel for who is sitting in front of me, what drives them, what motivates them, what are their reasons for wanting to pursue this mammoth career that's medicine. To some people, be a very tricky one because you don't have that perfect answer or you don't have that life-changing experience that drew you to medicine. Some people just have the generic or more boring typical response of, I was interested in science, or I like to learn a lot, and I like teaching. But don't be afraid. In this video, I'm going to be giving 8 tips to how you can improve your response to this type of question to give you a more authentic and genuine voice. So how can the question be asked? This question can be asked in multiple ways. You could rock up to the interview. It could be a panel with 2 people, and they'll simply ask you, why do you want to do medicine? They could ask you, what drew you to medicine? There's multiple spins on this. Some ask, like, why do you want to be a doctor? An interesting one is that you can get it in an acting station. Don't rule out that it's only going to be a direct one-on-one interviewer to candidate type of question. Okay, so let's get into some tips to answer this big question, why medicine? Tip 1, establish your core values. I cannot stress how important this is before going into the interview. So what are you searching for? What do you strive for? If someone had to sum up you in a sentence, what would it be? Are you a hardworking person? Do you appreciate when someone respects others? Do you like to teach? Do you value professionalism, teamwork, leadership? Are you up for a challenge? Do you like challenges? Are you driven by competition? Do you want to be better than the next person in your class? Do you want to be top of the class? So before even starting the interview, my biggest tip is to get a piece of paper and write a list of all the things that make you you. What makes you important? What ticks you? When you look at a doctor, what qualities do you want them to have? How do you want them to respond to you? And by figuring out what these values are and what you appreciate in them and why you appreciate them, and so it takes a bit of reflection. Once you figure that out, you'll try to emulate that. And obviously that's why you're driven and that's why you're drawn to medicine, because you want to emulate these qualities. You want to embody them with your own character and how you go about your daily life, not just in medicine. And so I think it's really important to think about the core values which you cherish. I like the fact that I can always be on my feet. Medicine's a constantly changing environment. There's always new biomedical advances. You're always learning new things. I also like to teach other people. Medicine offers a lot of opportunity to facilitate learning, whether that be through educational ways later on in life or just the ability to teach patients about something new that you've learned in your medical studies. A quality that I really value is being able to show someone respect. And when you're in the medical field and when you're a doctor or if you're a student, you have to really respect the patient, their autonomy to make their own decisions about their treatment. You have to respect the hospital. You have to respect your colleagues' opinions when you're asking for advice about how best to treat the patient. So think about your qualities. Think about the values embedded within you. And once you've got that sorted, answering the question will become easy. Tip 2, be honest. It sounds really cliche to say be yourself. But really, a lot of people think that there's an invisible checklist inside the interviewer's heads that they want you to say X, Y, and Z. But there really isn't. And the best way is just to be honest with yourself and be honest to the examiner. Don't try to exaggerate experiences that you have or feelings or what you did in this medical practice or even make up reasons to why you want to do it. It's just going to come off disingenuous. It's not going to make sense. There's going to be inconsistencies throughout your discussion. So the best thing is just to be honest with yourself, open honestly, and don't be rehearsed. I know that I said that I want you to plan ahead. Planning ahead's different to rehearsing a paragraph and talking off a script. What you really want to do is you want to have one sentence, a few words that really summarize your motivations, and then go from there. You'll find that as you talk, you'll explore more options. You'll be able to interact with the interviewer specifically if it gives you later prompts, and it'll come off more authentic, it'll come off more genuine, and that's what you really want. Being honest means that you can really talk about your true intention and why you're committed to medicine and not another profession. Tip number 3, emphasize qualities that medical professionals should possess. When answering this question, you should talk with the interviewer's interest in mind. The interviewer wants to know that you can possess all the qualities that a medical professional should have. Things like taking responsibility, professionalism, good communication skills, are things that they'll test you in different stations, but you need to show that you can have this in day-to-day. Adaptability, equanimity, the ability to empathize, that is a huge one. If you cannot show to the interviewer that you have traits of empathy, that you're able to put yourself into someone else's shoes, that you're able to see situations from other people's perspectives, if you cannot show this, you're already set for failure. This is why back in tip number 1, I said it's really important to establish your core values before you even begin, because this will give you a sense of, do these match with those in the medical profession? Am I going to be the right candidate to be in medicine? You need to be able to show qualities that the interviewer wants to see. Tip number 4, show that you understand the ups and downs of medicine. When people think of medicine, they think of something idealistic. Medicine's all the things that they want, what they see on Scrubs, what they see on Grey's Anatomy. But the reality of it is that you're going to have to go through a lot of hardship. It's a lot of work, and there's a lot of commitment to be made. You want to show that you're trying to pursue medicine for all that it is, the ups and the downs, the hard work, the long hours, but also the reward of treating a patient and seeing them change and seeing them grow and how you've had a direct impact on their life. If you can highlight why you're drawn to medicine in a way that acknowledges both the negatives and the positives, and acknowledge that getting into medicine is not going to be the magic bullet to all your problems, but instead that you're going to have to work harder than you ever have in your life. Once you've acknowledged that and show that you're really passionate about doing it because of all the rewarding experiences that you'll be able to get later on, that will really be something the interviewer wants to see. It will really show that you've thought about not just medical school, but medicine as a career. It's a long stretch. We're probably, by the time that we're 70, the retirement age is going to be 80. So it's useful to think about not just the years that you're going to be in medical school, but the whole big picture. Tip number 5, less description, more expression. Show passion. The interviewers are looking for someone that's truly passionate about medicine. So when you're talking about your motivations behind it, don't be descriptive. Don't say that I had this experience or that experience, or when I was young I was really interested in science and I really wanted to do this and yada yada. They've seen 50 different applicants, but what really makes you different is that you're not being just descriptive when you're discussing your reasons, but you're being expressive. If you can do this, the interviewer won't only like you, they'll remember you. Tip number 6, body language is king. When you're sitting there, you not only want to tell them that you're really interested in medicine and that you love the biomedical sciences and that you love the challenge that it gives you, you need to show that. It's not weird or funny to show some hand actions like I'm doing, or to lean in a little bit to show that you're keen, and to go back when you're more reflecting on an idea. It's okay. Body language, the ability to hold yourself well, not only shows you're in control of the situation, but shows that you really want to be here. This is the only crack that you're going to have at it, and you want to give it your all. You want to be in control and be authoritative with what you're saying. If you're being anecdotal, if you're telling a story and drawing the interviewer into your story and explaining why that gave you a motivation to do medicine, you're going to elicit an emotion. And emotions need to be shown with facial expression, with hand gestures. Your body needs to be in sync with your mind. And if you can do that, the interviewer is going to be drawn into your story. The interviewer is going to be drawn into your motivation. And they want to share your passion. They want to put you into the degree. They want to put you into the course because they liked you. Tip number 7, slow down. Sometimes it's really easy to get wrapped in the conversation where you want to brain dump every experience, every motivation, why you want to do it. You've rehearsed this answer 1,000 times in your head and you spent countless nights practicing with yourself in the mirror or with a friend about why you want to do medicine, why do you want to be a doctor. But don't get caught into this trap of needing to offload everything. It's going to be way too much information for the interviewer to handle. They'll probably not remember half the things that you said. Take a breath, pause a little if you have to. Think about what you're saying. It gives you not a chance to regain your thoughts, regather your thoughts, but it gives the interviewer a chance to reflect on what you said. Tip number 8, and the final tip, don't overthink it. When you're in the station, don't read into the interviewer's cues too much. I know that in a lot of interviews, the interviewer doesn't really give you much expression. They might have a stern look on their face, a serious expression. They might frown or look funny at times. They're really doing this to throw you off. It probably means nothing, and when you're in the station, it's easy to get sort of wound up in this, like, oh, they made this face, I better sort of change what I'm thinking. Maybe they don't agree with what I'm saying. But there's no right answer with your motivations. It's the one station that you don't need to problem solve. You just have to showcase yourself. Be strong with your answer, be strong with your mindset, and be consistent with your response. And don't waver when you're uncertain with what the interviewer's thinking. They don't have a checklist. There's no right answer. They're just looking for the right candidate. And the best way to do that is to give them a real person who they can see in the medical field. And when the bell rings and you have to leave and the interview's finished, put it behind you. Don't think about it. You said the right things. You said the right things. Don't replay the station in your head. Just take a breath, let it out. And if you were able to implement some of the things that I said, being expressive, show that you've weighed the pros and cons of the medical profession and that you really value the qualities that a doctor should be. If you've done all those things and have discussed your own personal reasons, you did more than enough. And you probably stood out as one of the best candidates there. Okay, so that brings us to the end of the video. If you made it this far and you found something that was useful to you, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe if you want to see more content like this. I'm going to be outputting a lot more videos on how to address more interview question types and maybe how to prepare leading up to your interview. Anyways, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.